job, little fish.
Do a good job, little buddy. What's that thing like that?
Off. All right, now work to the other side. Come on! Nice. Man, give the big one a kick.
Obliterate!
Nice.
More obliteration!
$2.55. So $2.55 and $1.92. That's 63 pounds. He's 63 pounds. Yeah. At least 5 or 10 pounds heavier. $2.61, so he's 6 pounds heavier. So 69, 70 pounds. It's a newt.
You see this little newt? We're not going to touch it, okay? We'll leave him alone.
What do you think, Ivy?
It's like a mix of a frog and a snake and an eel. Something like that. They have cute little feet.
I'm feeding some grass hay that we bought. This is the first time since we've had animals that we've been concerned about, do we have enough forage that we're growing for them. So we got some hay, and I'm knocking down some trees because here we are in mid-January looking forward to spring and growing a whole lot of forage for them, more than they can eat. But we had a rough combination of a long summer drought that didn't really break until late October. If we started getting rain in September, combination of September rain and September sun would have been like a second spring as far as growing a lot of grass and other forage. But we went from drought all the way into late October, a little bit of rain in October, and then quickly very cold weather. So we didn't get that fall growth that would be nice. But those are all the kinds of problems we're going to have to learn to manage around, and buying grass hay will be one of them. Interestingly, the sheep are much less interested in hay than the goats are. They've been eating on this fir tree that I knocked down. The reason I knocked it down is this gentle hillside would really do well getting opened up into pasture. And some of these firs and cedars that are growing here aren't going to be great timber trees. They're fairly crooked. And another issue with a timber tree that's not growing in the middle of a big forest but out on its own is it's going to keep all those bottom branches, and those bottom branches are going to get really big, and that means really big knots on your log. So it's not as desirable of a saw log either. So sacrificing it as a bit of animal feed and then firewood and wood chips and even a bit of a burn pile will be fine. And then we can convert some of this hillside to grass pasture. And for reference, that's the tiny pond there. And there's the hot dog cart, the animal support cart back there, which is really close to the northern property line. Other thing of significance with the animals is the vast majority of them are pregnant, because we're not seeing signs of heat anymore in any of them except one or two of our very smallest goats, like that girl there. And if the smallest goats don't get pregnant, that's fine. Ooh, you okay, sweetheart? So the only goat I've seen, or sheep I've seen in heat in recent weeks, is that little one. Some of our girls are getting noticeably big and waddly, like Lavender here. I don't know if it picks up well on camera, but she is wide, and Tina and the kids actually felt movement. So the one question we have with a couple of them, especially Lavender, is we saw a heat in early October, and after that heat is when we took off Oreo, our breeding buck's mating shield. But depending on when she gives birth, we will learn whether or not that mating shield failed in that early October heat. If she got pregnant in early October, that means she'll have babies in early March. So kidding dates will tell us a lot about when they got pregnant and whether or not that mating shield failed. And same for Teddy. Our sheep, I'm not as familiar with sheep. They're not noticeably wide and waddly to me yet, but I saw plenty of mating activity from Teddy in November, December. Kids and goats love playing in the tree. But anyways, long story short, we'll start having baby lambs and baby goats March, April, May. So that'll be our spring baby season, and it'll be awesome. We are excited. We sold a couple wethers, neutered males. The kids were a little sad to see some animals go, but if we're going to breed animals, you know, animals come, animals go. We can't keep every animal we breed out here, or things wouldn't work. Free choice minerals are still going really well. Tina picked up these totes, and we keep stuff in these totes. It's really interesting how much more they go through of certain things. 2, 7, 8, 20. They really go through those really fast. So I will fill them up, and I'm sure you will see these guys come scarf it up. They're so busy, it's hard for me to keep getting in here and filling things up. I think I filled up anything that was completely empty. Something like that. Still has some they can get. Hi, happy little lamb. Quick chicken and pig update. So where we're looking southish, and the creek is back there on the other side of the chickens and down that hill. The equipment shed, the old pink house, and then on the other side of them the yurt is there. And this is a really rough spot above the silvo pasture and before it turns into forest. It's this really marginal area, and we've got the pigs separated from the sheep and goats now because I was tired of chasing sheep and goats away from their grain, and that's letting us just really let the pigs spend extra time hitting these areas. And I just bought a special kind of saw blade for my weed whacker that I'll start working this brush, because it's also really hard to maneuver the skid steer back here on slope with a lot of rocks. It's kind of a surefire way to throw the tracks. But this is an area that I hit with the skid steer last year, but it would be really hard for me to push very far in that direction with all the rocks and terrain changes. But we're going to keep working it because we can really open it up into nice pasture. And the brush clearing video from when we hired that mulching machine actually had a segment right over here where that machine was able to get in, is right over here, and you can see that it's looking pretty good. You know, there's grass growing in mixed in with the blackberries, and we'll just keep working it, and this hillside can turn to really nice pasture. And my main goal would be we stop having areas that look like that are just so marginal, you know, either nice trees that'll be profitable for us, or good pasture, but not that. Here you can see the last time the pigs here, they were really rough on this, so that's why, another reason why we separated them is I'm keeping the pigs off of where we're trying to make grass, because in the winter when things are wet and soft, they tear it up. So I'll have to reseed and rehay that sometime. But looking along this fence line, it's quite a bit of acreage that we'll have to work that looks like this. But the way Tina and I are starting to think about it is, you know, picturing going and doing all of that in one go is overwhelming, but every year, even if we just chip away and push up this hill 5 feet, it'd make a good difference. And we don't have to clear all of that. What we can do is thin aggressively, and I'm sure there's good trees in there. You know, I can see a couple little fir trees peeking out in there that look pretty straight, like that one. You know, if you cut quite a bit of stuff back around it and free that one up, it'll be a happy tree. Here's where the pigs just were for a few weeks. It looks terrible, but that's a good thing because they've really torn things up, and we can plant cover crops, plant grass, plant aggressive trees, and get something other than blackberry going here. So it'll be a lot of work, but these hillsides have spring activity, so we can't really get equipment here. So this is going to be manual labor that we'll take our time on and chip away. Been moving the chickens once a week, and twice a week I actually physically move the trailer to spread the load of chicken poop out a little bit more. And they're doing well. For a while we were getting about 5 eggs a day, and then through part of January we were hitting 50-60 degree highs for a while, and we saw an uptick of eggs up to 10 a day recently. We're going to cool down again, so we'll see how that goes. But overall, the chickens are doing great. We have 21 hens and 2 roosters. The same 2 roosters, Gandalf and Bob. And that's it with them. Okay, let's talk about the pink house for a minute and then wrap up this video. So Jesse, our friend, worked with us, and we did a lot of work in here, him and I. We demolished multiple walls, a bedroom wall, bathroom walls. You know, we set these posts and beam to demolish an interior load-bearing wall. You can see we've got it all tidied up. Hangers for the rafters on the new beam post. We went with some simple brackets to secure things, and those are nails right there on the top side. And so what's next in here is to set it up into a workshop. It's a nice, relatively large space, nice and long, 30 feet long. So somewhere in front of this fireplace going this way will be fixed workbench type of area, and then in the middle we'll have 1 or 2 movable workbenches, and then things like the table saw and the planer will all be able to move. I had a couple good calls with Tina's dad and brother Gare, and I've got a game plan for redoing the electrical in here and starting with really good lighting. I bought 8 shop lights. I'll use at least 6 of them to start with and really get this place lit up, and then if I see a workspace that needs a little more light, I'll have a couple more lights to add. And that's where we stand. If I didn't mention it, I'm looking into doing a dust collection system too, so that we can try to keep it relatively tidy. And then and this will be a big improvement to this space. And then I showed it in the clip earlier, but we did identify a couple spots where the roof leaks a bit. Not terribly, but some. And so it's a flat roof on top of some sort of kind of plastic vinyl material. And when we have enough dry weather, we'll get up there with this liquid product we found and patch all the seams and see if that stops all the leaking. And long term, we still don't know exactly what we'll do in here. You know, we could remodel it into a house, all those type of things, but turning it into a workshop for a few years while we work with the structure and at least make decent use of it will be good. I've got a couple pieces of live edge fur that I'm going to turn into some bathroom shelving. So that's what's going on there. And that's it. The equipment shed's doing good. Made a lot of dump runs with the junk we pulled out of here, and we'll keep moving forward, trying to make this place nicer one day at a time.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, I, F, P, Q, R, S, T, U, W.
X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs.
No.
Hey, why'd that make you grumpy?
No. Mama.
Oh my goodness, Mama. Mama's trying to sleep in.